neighbors and all that other stuff. So I think, to be honest with you, when we go back into looking at this, I think it will be a quicker process because we've already been through the medicinal side. And like our Mr. Greco said, I think the recreational will end up superseding the medical.
That's
Two quick points.
Councilman Johnson.
Point number one, it's still illegal. We're just not allowing it to be grown or be sold in the city at this particular moment in time. That's a big point. Let's go back a few years when we voted not to raise our taxes on gas, and they went ahead and did it anyways. Totally separate, different issue. It's still legal throughout the whole state.
So I understand and appreciate those points, but I just want to point back to your primary point, which was regarding the state could approve licenses, etc. The statute specifically says that every city and community can prohibit licenses altogether or limit the number of licenses. So that doesn't hold water in terms of a sound legal argument.
Mr. Chairman. Councilman.
That is what we're doing tonight, though. We're enacting the provision within what you voted on to limit or prevent, and we're putting a pause until it happens.
That's different. You're opting.
The same.
Technically, you're opting out of that altogether.
Right.
If you're
With the
opting
opportunity to opt back
in, we,
in.
the city, man,
Yeah.
we as a city, when we opt in, do reserve the right, and you should know this, you're able to approve business licenses. That's an obvious thing.
We do not do that.
We do not.
This council does not do
Not
that.
the
See, that's
council,
just
the
more
city, the city.
misinformation you're putting out there,
The
Mr.
city
McDonald.
is able to control business licenses.
The city does, this council doesn't.
I understand that. When I speak of the city as a whole, you're a part of the city. You know, the mayor's here, your different departments. Please bear with me. But it does specifically say that you're able to limit the number of licenses or exclude licenses.
Disagree.
Well, it's just in there, and I'm just pointing
Well,
it out.
it's in there, which is why we're taking the action we're taking tonight. I agree with you. I mean, I think
I
you heard
understand.
Corp Counsel, you have one legal opinion, our Assistant Corp Counsel has another. That if we don't opt in, we can't restrict, we can't limit, we can't say where they'll end up in the city. We can't limit how many. That's why we're taking
You
the action.
can. It says in the statute that you can.
That's your interpretation.
No, that's the statute.
No, it's not.
Mr. Greco, I'm sure, is happy to mention that it's in there somewhere.
I have it right here in front of me. I've read it. Okay, we can limit by opting out. We can limit by having an ordinance. In the absence of having an ordinance, we're stuck with the state statute, which, unlike liquor, which has a certain number of licenses spread over the state will issue an unlimited number of medical or recreational marijuana licenses. It's an unlimited amount that, in the absence of an ordinance, we would have a very difficult time saying you can't do business here or you can't operate in that storefront.
May I
That's
ask,
a legal opinion.
does the city approve business licenses in some capacity?
Are you saying the city or
The
the city
of
council?
Taylor, before a business
Let's refer to the
opens
clip
up,
on that.
do we approve licenses?
We could
If
refer
it's
to
a
the clip.
legally,
I'm just asking for a yes or no. I'd appreciate
I
a
don't,
straight shot.
I don't do that. I'm sure we do, yes.
No.
I
We
agree.
can't
And
prevent,
that's all I'm
we
saying
can't
is that you
prevent
have
a
means.
business that is legally allowed under state statute.
Okay, Mr. McDonald, your
that's
time is
just
up. We
all I'm
appreciate your
saying there.
concern.
When it comes
Mr. McDonald, your time is up. We
well, I
appreciate
only
your
asked one or
concern.
two questions. You guys took most of that.
Now, there was arguing back and forth. I think we haven't even voted yet, and you're always assuming, so
I'm trying to
your
ask
time
you
is up, and we
questions.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it, but I'm
And
gonna
give somebody
I'd like
else
to
the
ask-
opportunity to speak, Mr. McDonald.
May I come back up at the end?
No.
Well, I really don't want to just give up my right to my voice here.
Well, arguing back and forth with everybody.
trying to argue. You guys keep
or just
interrupting me.
even raising your
I'm a
voice back and forth.
very
There's,
polite, well-mannered
Mr. McDonald,
person,
your time is up. We appreciate your
and I
opinion.
appreciate that, but I'm not going
Okay.
anywhere.
Yes,
So
you are,
I would
Mr.
love to
McDonald.
ask another question or two.
No, you may not.
about
Your time
this.
is up, Mr. McDonald. Somebody else
You know,
will have the
One thing
opportunity.
you are doing is killing small businesses. The one thing
Mr.
you're
McDonald,
doing
your time is up.
is industry.
We're not killing anything.
You are. And
Your time
government-
is up. Mr. McDonald, please leave the podium.
I'd prefer not to. If you just let
I
me.
appreciate that, but your time is up, and I'm asking you to
What
leave
time
the
is
podium. You have 3 minutes, like I stated at the beginning of the meeting.
I've asked 2 sentences worth
It
of.
doesn't matter. Your time is up. I'm done arguing with you. You've
don't
had your
want to.
time to speak. We've answered some of your questions. We tried to. Your time is up. You're all done.
I'm not done.
Yes, you are. Mr. McDonald,
But I'm
leave the
not done.
podium. Is there anybody else that would like to ask any questions? please come to the podium and state your name and address.
You know who I am, Cindy Sabrowski, 6904 Huron Street, Taylor, Michigan. I would just like to address something that Mr. Johnson said about Ecorse Road and how you would see all these businesses popping up. Well, let me tell you, in a 5-block radius of my house, there are 4 bars. Literally one on every corner, and every one of you is okay with all of these bars, but you have all these issues with the marijuana. I don't get it. And I'm quite certain that every one of you have had a drink in your life, or more than 1, 2, 3. So I don't get the big deal here. I get the ordinance thing, I'm all about that, but really? 4 bars in 5 blocks, and you have a problem with a marijuana business?
I never said that. Councilman Johnson.
Through the chair, of course, those have been there since we've been here. They've been there for a long time. Okay? And this is possible that every other business could be a medical marijuana facility. Do we want that? We have a chance to do an ordinance. And number 1, and number 2, I haven't taken a drink in any of those bars ever.
I didn't say those bars.
Any of them, any.
You've never had a drink.
Okay.
One when I was 14.
Mr. Johnson,
That's,
That's-
all of that is irrelevant,
is
really.
anybody else have any questions?
Really?
Yes, sir.
My feelings are not irrelevant. I pay taxes and I live in this city.
I wasn't, first of all, I wasn't speaking to you, I was speaking to Mr. Johnson
Okay.
about him going on about his age of having a drink.
Sir, state your name and address, please.
My name's Robert Inman. I live at 8095 Campbell Street in Taylor. I don't have any questions for you. I just have lots of statements. Mr. Johnson had a lot to say on Facebook, and I have no problems with what I said, nor do I take back anything I said. I'm ashamed of this city council currently. I'm extremely ashamed. For every one of you. First off, I was told that you guys are voting no because you don't know what the state's gonna do. You're waiting for the state to put out their rules. That's a lie, because emergency rules have already been put out for the definition for you guys to make rules anticipating that. If you don't believe me, you can go to Michigan.gov. You can check any of the places that I posted it, because I've slapped that everywhere to prove you're wrong. Second, I agree with what that lady said and what he said. You are killing small business. This city cannot afford to keep losing small business because of something petty that the state voted yes for that. Third off, also, these rules have been put in place. The state has already said yes. I agree. Do I want 100 million pot shops in the city? No. Do I really care about this law? Not particularly. I've been a medical patient. I have a disease that I have to have this for to be alive. I smoked it on my way here so I could be here to talk to you. If not, I could die. So what I'm saying is there are other people out there who cannot afford, and I mean that, the $60 to a dispensary, the $60 to a doctor's office, and the $60 to the state to get a medical card. A local business, so we don't have to travel to shady areas like Southwest Detroit or Dirty Rouge and to go pick up our medicine. And I'm not just talking about a medical patient, I'm talking about other people who are not medical patients who do need this. And you guys are saying no to it. Taylor wants to be the cutting edge, they want to be premier, they want to be the spot in Wayne County, and here we are slapping the state and slapping the residents in the face by telling them no. Shame on you.
Okay. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Sir, come to the podium, please, and state your name. And if you want to speak to council, come to the podium. Okay. Okay. Mr. McDonald, your time was up. We're no longer.
What
Is there
kind of
any other
government for us to
questions?
Can't answer questions with someone who's
You've
actually
answered your
engaging.
questions. Yes,
Shocking.
ma'am. You
I
come
just
up and
don't
speak your name.
understand.
Mr. McDonald, you're done for the evening.
You guys are done. This is absurd.
Okay,
I'm asking
you've made your
real
statement.
substantive
Please sit down.
questions about what's going on here, and you can't stand it. It just, I've never seen people despise input from people in the city who care so much about.
Mr. McDonald, you have your opinion, and we are elected to do what we think is best. We
But
haven't
you're
even
elected to
voted
the
yet,
people
and you're gonna sit here and make all these assumptions on everything. So, Mr. McDonald,
Much like Mr.
you are
Greco's
done. Ma'am,
representative
please
of the
come up
body.
and take the podium. If not, I'm gonna call for a vote.
I apologize.
Shanna Cotton, 9661 Elm Street, Taylor. My opinion is mostly for schools, tax money going towards schools. Our schools are going down the hill, basically. I did work for Taylor Schools for 5 years. I've